Hey guys, it's Laurence here, and today I want to walk you through how last month I made $137,000 through cold email alone, and it only took about 20 minutes per day on average. It sounds a little bit too good to be true. Of course, there are sales calls involved in that process, but in terms of actually generating the sales calls and doing the cold outreach side of things, it only took me probably a little bit less than 20 minutes a day on average. There's really three things that you need in order to make sure that you're hitting your goals and it's not taking you a very long time to achieve it. And whether it's an hour a day, 20 minutes a day, whatever it may be, you just don't want to be a slave to the machine, basically. So I'll run through the three things that you need to have in place and that you need to have in place kind of in order as well. And the first thing is a message that converts masses of cold people onto a sales call. And there's two things that we need to make sure that we have. And this is especially important for anybody that has to date relied on referrals, their network, and word of mouth to grow their agency. And also people that are trying to run cold emails to generate sales calls and clients, but they're struggling. The thing that you need to focus on is, you hear a lot about kind of value-based pricing. We need to be talking about value-based marketing. Everybody that we speak with that has tried to do some form of cold outreach before and not succeeded is they focus too much on the mechanics of what they do and not on the outcome that they provide. So we want to be talking about the desired outcome of your prospects, not the mechanics that you do in order to get them to that desired outcome. That's only part of it. The next part is, once we've got that desired outcome, say for example, you work with dentists and they want more teeth whitening appointments, for example, your next step is not just to say that is that desired outcome. And it can be, it's going to change obviously for lots of different industries, but you then need to go one step further. That next step is explaining, and I need to be careful how I phrase this, not how you get them to that end result, but how what you do is different to what they've tried before. Because 9 times out of 10, when you work with a client or you're communicating with a prospect, they've tried to solve the problem before and it hasn't worked out, hence they are speaking with you or they're reading that message. And what you need to do is basically, you need to let them know that you are different to everybody else they've ever worked with before, and that your way of achieving your desired outcome that you talk about, for example, more teeth whitening appointments, the way that you do that is different. Now you need to keep that method of how you do it very, very high level. The way that we do that is by using what I call a unique mechanism. So you're not talking about all the different things that you're going to be doing. You're just saying, we're going to get you from A to B. We're going to get you from 0 teeth whitening appointments per month to 15 teeth whitening appointments per month. And we're going to do it through our unique system of A, B, and C. You're not saying we're going to write your ads for you, we're going to do this for you, we're going to do that for you. It's just very high level. It's our unique mechanism. And you can there's actually a video on the channel that goes into what a unique mechanism is, how to create one, and how it allows you to differentiate yourselves from everybody else out there that's screaming the same message to the same people, banging the same drum, and it doesn't really work. So that's step one. You need a very compelling message to take people from complete strangers to a call on the calendar. And the best way to do that is by focusing on the outcome that you're going to produce, and also the unique way that you're going to deliver that outcome that is different from anything that they've seen, tried, or heard before. Once you've got that in place, we can then move on to step 2, which is having a predictable and scalable system. There is no point having a system that takes up all of your time as a business owner in order to be able to generate sales calls, because then you've got to take those sales calls, or somebody else has. You've got to deliver that service. And your time, although there are not many things that are higher leverage than generating sales calls and taking sales calls, your time is going to be better spent understanding how to productize that system that allows you to scale your outreach. And there's lots of ways that you can do this, and kind of weirdly, the right thing to do is actually not to worry about scale to begin with. Find something that actually works and then look to scale it, as opposed to finding something that works and is scalable. Doing both those things at the same time is very difficult. Finding something that works is much easier, and then finding how to scale it is also easier than trying to do both at the same time. There's lots of different things that you can do, that you can use, and AI is one of them. And a VA or VAs are another. And so, as I mentioned in this video, I spent about 20 minutes a day generating the sales calls that made us $137,000 last month, but there was a VA behind the scenes. And that 20 minutes is really me communicating with that VA every day. It's not me doing the work in that 20-minute period. So I'm paying for an overseas virtual assistant. Gerald, if you're watching this, Hello. So I'm paying for an overseas virtual assistant that manages the entire process for me. We've set up a very structured, systemized way of basically delivering emails in a very effective way using personalization. And that's what you need. You need a system in place. And there's lots of videos on my channel that walk through all the different strategies. What those strategies are at this stage is not important, but you need to understand the structure behind a successful campaign and what it involves before you dive into the weeds of how it all works. And then the third thing that we need is, and this is something that's overlooked. So right now we've got a message that works really well. We've got a system that basically gets that message out to your ideal prospects, and that's going to create sales calls. But sales calls do not pay the bills. We now need a system to turn those sales calls into paying clients. And obviously you've got the sales call itself, but there's a few things that we can do that are very highly leveraged that we do once and will work for us forever. Instead of trying to build trust on a sales call, which everybody does, and it's not a bad thing to do, what we want to do is we want to build trust before the sales call even takes place. So we have a way of converting calls into clients, and it's the same way that everybody has. We get on a sales call, we talk things over. If we're the right fit, we make an offer, we explain why it's beneficial to work with us, etc., etc. But there's something else that we do, and it is around increasing trust in between that gap of sales call being booked and sales call taking place. And we want to get them into our ecosystem and consuming as much information about us, watching videos as humanly possible. So when somebody books in a call, we send them to a thank you page. Thank you page has a video on it. Thank you page directs them to a homework page where they can find out more about what we do. On that page, there are video testimonials. There are YouTube videos. We push people to the YouTube channel through email. We push them to the homework page to make sure they actually watched it. We do everything we can to get them to consume as much content of ours as possible before the call takes place, so that when we're on a sales call, there's less friction, they trust us more, they understand that we are experts in this field, and we're not trying to sell them on us as much as we maybe would need to if we didn't have this system in place. So that's a really important part that most people overlook. And you can generate as many sales calls as you want, but if you're not closing them into paying clients, then obviously it's all for nothing. So that trust piece at the end is really, really important. And it's often very overlooked. And there's lots of things you can do. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you can create videos that, explain a little bit more about your process, or they explain a little bit more about why, for example, SEO is the best way to grow a business long-term. If you're an SEO agency, if you're in Meta ads, you can explain why Meta is the best place to be, etc., etc. So you can either talk about yourself or you can talk about the vehicle, so that you're no longer selling them on why SEO is the best strategy. The sales call is all about selling them on you as to why you are the best person to deliver on that strategy. So I hope that makes sense. So just to kind of recap, we've got to make sure that we've got a message that actually converts complete strangers en masse to your sales calendar. We've then got to have a predictable way to deliver that message to your ideal prospects. And then we've got to build that trust in between the call being booked and the call taking place in order to make sure that the sale actually happens. And everything I've just outlined there is everything that we do for our clients. We work specifically with marketing agencies, coaches, consultants, SaaS companies to put more sales calls on their calendar through cold email. And we do it all on a pay on results basis, completely risk-free for our clients. And we can guarantee you a minimum of 50 qualified sales calls every single month if we're the right fit for one another. Best thing to do to find out if you want us to come into your business, build everything for you, manage everything for you, and you just simply pay on results, then click the first link in the description. I'll explain how everything works on the next page, and then you can book in a call. We'll have a conversation. I'll tell you what we do. I'll find out a little bit more about your business, where your bottlenecks lie. If we think we can help, I'll explain how that process works. If we can't, I'll give you some valuable information on how to take things to the next stage, or point you in the direction of somebody else that can help. But either way, it's a win-win. You're going to walk away from that call with either us putting sales calls on your calendar, and maybe you don't want 150 sales calls every single month like we get. Maybe you only want 10, 20, 30, that's absolutely fine. Or if we're not the right fit, you'll have a blueprint as how to take your business to the next stage through cold email. So click that link in the description, book in a call to speak with me, and I'll explain how everything works. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.